Welcome. I'm Ed, the antiquarian. Behind me, you see the temple to Athena of Phaia on the island of Aegina. It's a place of serenity, which is harder to attain these days. Today, civil discourse, even among friends and family, is getting edgy. Intemperate words are uttered. Words like tyrant, demagogue, autocrat, despot, and dictator. The specter of one-man rule haunts the West, but it wasn't always so. Romans early on were ruled by Etruscan kings, but in 509 BC, the senatorial aristocracy expelled their kings and created a constitutional republic, dominated, of course, by the aristocratic Senate. Now, they recognized at the time the need for an occasional leader of extraordinary skill and wisdom. So they devised an office called Dictator. It was a temporary appointment with extraordinary powers. The dictators were nominated by one or both consuls, who were the executive magistrates of the city of Rome. They did so with the recommendation of the Senate and the concurrence of the Assembly of Citizens. The appointment was for 6 months, and the dictator's mandate was to resolve a crisis, either military or domestic, whatever was disrupting the function of the Civitas, the state. And once the dictator had resolved the crisis, it was his obligation to resign his post and return the republic to the status quo prior to whatever was the crisis. Now, over the course of 500 years of the Roman Republic, some 80 men were appointed as dictators. The ideal was Cincinnatus, who was appointed dictator in the year 458 BC. The story goes that Cincinnatus was out plowing his fields behind his oxen when messengers came from the city of Rome to announce to him that he had been appointed dictator to deal with a military crisis south of Rome. Cincinnatus quickly grabbed his spear, his sword, his helmet, his shield, and reported to Rome. Within 16 days, he resolved the crisis, resigned his post as dictator, and returned to his plow. Now, Cincinnatus was a Republican hero. He represented mos maiorum, the customs of the ancestors who exhibited the highest values of being Roman. He exhibited virtus. That is, he was a man's man. He had gravitas. He had dignified self-control. And finally, he had about himself auctoritas, a certain prestige and respect that had been earned over the course of his life. And so he was the ideal dictator for any crisis in the future. Now, 400 years in the future, we come to Julius Caesar. At the time, Roman society, or the Roman citizenry, was divided between the haves and the have-nots, between the optimates and the populares, between the aristocrats and their wealthy supporters and the common people. Caesar, in the civil war, which he prosecuted against Pompey the Great, who represented the optimates, Caesar claimed to represent the common people, the common citizen of Rome. And once he had secured his victory over Pompey, he returned to Rome and demanded from the Senate appointment for 10 years as dictatorship so that he could, quote, reorder the republic, unquote. He tried to reconcile both the optimates and the populares to his dictatorship, to his plan to reorder the republic. But in the year 44 BC, the Ides of March, the 15th of March, a conspiracy of optimates, the senators, assassinated Caesar, ending the last dictatorship of the Roman Republic. Now, Western democracies are experiencing political and social turmoil right now. And you wonder if we in the West have the wisdom and fortitude to resist the appeal of some unconstitutional demagogues who promise to quiet the waters and to bring back peace and prosperity to our lives. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these little videos, please subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting about once every 2 weeks. Thanks again.